Hi, I'm Kepner CPA here in Dallas. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can look forward to with your friends at the IRS. There is a taxpayer advocate program in place. I've actually used a tax advocate to try to get a refund for one of my clients and was successful doing that. As the national taxpayer advocate process works, the leader of that is Nina Olson, and she made a report to Congress, the 2015 report. And let me tell you what concern she has. She expresses concern that the IRS may be on the verge of dramatically scaling back telephone and face-to-face service that it has provided for decades to the 150 million individual taxpayers and the 11 million business taxpayers to help them comply with their tax obligations. Whenever I call the IRS on behalf of a client, it probably costs my client anywhere from $250 to $500 just to make the phone call and to try to resolve the problem. And quite frankly, it doesn't mean that the problem is going to get solved. It may mean something like, well, call me back in 6 weeks kind of thing. It's absolutely horrible. So if the IRS drastically reduces this, you as a taxpayer or me as your representative is going to be forced to do things online. Now, for many of us, working online is a day-to-day occurrence. We're online all the time. So why does that seem like a problem? It means that whatever you put down as the description of your problem, maybe it's as simple as, where's my refund? And you offer that up online to the IRS. That problem is either going to be solved by a computer or it's going to go through some process for people to look at. And it may be that you haven't gotten your refund for a variety of reasons. Maybe you didn't sign your return. Maybe there's been a fraudulent return filed with your Social Security number. Maybe there's evidence that the IRS has that you should have reported income from a partnership that you're a partner in, and it's not on your return. All of these kinds of things may slow down a refund. And if you can't follow up with somebody and provide them with the information, then you're left with looking at the IRS computers to be your savior. That's going to be a horrible, horrible situation for most of us. For tax professionals, it's going to be a problem because we're going to say to our clients, we'll be glad to call them. It's going to cost about $500 and we may not get an answer. Now, how would you like to shell out $500 for that kind of thing? But that's the real world out there, unfortunately. The other possibility is to write them a letter. Well, that's a little faster. It doesn't cost as much. But then you write them a letter. Some of my clients get letters back saying, we received your correspondence and we're going to take another 6 weeks because we haven't had a chance to review it. That's the kind of thing we're facing when we're in an all digital world. And so the IRS may have these plans, but they haven't disclosed them to Congress. So Nina says that, and by the way, this is our money, meaning our taxpayer money, that the IRS is spending. And we should know what it is buying. Is it buying computers to be able to look over what we do? I don't know. She doesn't know, and she's the taxpayer advocate. It's you may want to read this. It'd be perfectly all right. The annual report to Congress, the executive summary, which is the shortened version, is only 87 pages, and the full report is 753 pages. So if you as a taxpayer want to get a hold of those documents, I'm sure they're available to you, and so you would be able to read that and assess what's going on. obviously I'm being satirical about that because the reality is we live in a very complex world, and most people don't have the capacity to deal with all of these complexities. We have the ability to deal with the complexities in the tax law area or in the accounting area, but when it comes to my car, I don't have the technology or the wherewithal to understand all the electronics in my car, not because it's because I've never been trained. And the reality is that's the way with all of us. It's a very complex world. We all have our skills. And the reality is you may know everything about how to take care of a late model car, and I know zero about that. We know a lot about how to take care of tax and accounting matters, and you may not know as much about that. So what you have to do is you have to team up with the people that know the things that you don't and use those people wisely. So the IRS Future State, that's the name of it, Future State plan is under wraps right now. I'm sure it'll become available to Congress and maybe to us down the road. But the idea of it being all digital and going to the website and no phone calls is a scary proposition, and we're all going to pay the price for that. Sorry to give you the bad news, but if you need help in this arena, we're good at it. Give us a call. Thanks.